Fire for them, fire for them. If you're looking for that 35 bag umbrella and all damn thing there, keep it locked with DISUNOMICS podcast.
Yo people, what's going on? Monday morning news is back, but my voice ain't yet. And let's get straight into it. We're gonna start with the travel news, and I can't even lie, fam, this one's a bit sticky still. Literally as I'm recording, Health Secretary Sajid Javid announced that Nigeria is going to be added to the red list, which makes it 11th African nation to be added to the red list due to the OMICRON variant, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, which is very sad news because I know a couple of people was meant to hit Nigeria and do a young dirty December. So, boy, you lot better chill in Ghana for a good full 10 days, I believe. I think 10 days. You can't be in Nigeria within 10 days of your flight back to the UK or any other red list country. So, quick reminder of what red list means is you shouldn't be traveling there unless for very, very serious reasons. And upon return, you have to enter a quarantine hotel and do PCR tests, which is going to cost you about 2 bags. So that is very, very sad and breaking news. Sad news. Speaking of dirty December, Ghana. So what Ghanaians have announced this week is that the vaccines are going to be mandatory for targeted groups such as people working in the public sector, people working in the health sector from January 2022 on the 22nd, according to Health Service Director General Patrick Kumar Aboyi. I can't speak these Ghanaian names. I'm sorry, people. Please. So currently, out of a population of 30 million people, only 1.4 million Ghanaians are currently vaccinated. I know they received 12 million doses from AstraZeneca this week, so they're going on a big vaccine drive to get people vaccinated so they can help combat the Omicron variant, which they confirmed 2 cases earlier, last week by the time you're hearing this. Or what should I say? So from this week coming, of this December, and coming to the new year, according to the Ghanaian people, nightclubs, beaches, sports stadiums, and restaurants, you will need to be vaccinated before you can enter these venues. Proof of vaccinations will be needed. Ghana also dealing with the yellow fever outbreak. Over 40 people have died as of 26th of November 2021. So if you think you could travel to Ghana without getting yellow fever, trust me, not gonna let you in. Like, I had to do it when I went in 2019. It's about 60 bars, so try and make sure you get your yellow fever vaccination, and you should be vaccinated for yellow fever because it's not like COVID. Yellow fever, you have a 60% chance of dying, so it's not a joke. So people, please be vigilant and get your yellow fever vaccination if you're going to Ghana. Now, speaking of travel, going to the US, President Joe Biden unveiled stricter COVID restrictions regarding international travel. 10 cases have been detected across different states of the Omicron variant, and this is from coast to coast. It's not like it's situated in the Midwest or the South or the East Coast or the West Coast. It's like all over the gaff. So from this week coming, international travelers to the US, including Americans, must take a COVID test no more than a day before they travel, regardless of your vaccination status. So if you're fully vaccinated, half vaccinated, booster vaccinated, anti-vax, they don't care. A day before, because they usually countries say 72 hours, 48 hours. They say the day before. They want to make sure it is fresh out the oven. Do you know what I mean? Masks on planes, trains, and buses will be mandatory until mid-March. And so, yeah, that's how they are going on in the States. Now, moving on to Omicron as a whole. So, scientists have detected a surge in the number of people catching COVID multiple times. So, these scientists doing great work in South Africa have seen that, people are reeling up on COVID. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Rapid analysis suggests that Omicron may evade some immunity, according to scientists in the SA, South Africa. Omicron has so far been detected in 30 different countries. Remember, we only heard of it in South Africa, Botswana. It's everywhere. And in fact, though, the first cases were actually seen in Netherlands when it was marketed as South Africa, but I think that South Africa were just smart enough to detect it first. There was no surge in the risk of reinfections during the Beta and Delta waves. So when the Beta and Delta waves were slapping us up, there was no surge in people getting reinfected with coronavirus again. This is despite lab studies suggesting that the variants had potential to evade some immunity. So even though the Delta and the Beta variant had ability to evade immunity according to lab results, we didn't see people catch COVID twice in terms of a significant increase. However, now, if you look at South Africa, there is a spike in reinfections. They have not tested every patient to see if it's an Omicron variant or any other variant, but the timing suggests that the main driver is Omicron, which is not the greatest of news. So the study, which has not been formally reviewed by other scientists, so this is not completely RC certified blue stamp, estimates Omicron could be twice as likely to cause reinfection than earlier variants, which is not the greatest of news. And however, something that scientists and analysts are saying we should take into account is vaccination level. South Africa is only 24% fully vaccinated compared to the UK, which is 80% fully vaccinated, and a third of adults have the booster jab. So the impact is likely to be a bit different in terms of reinfection, potentially with countries with higher levels of vaccination. So Professor Pulliam stressed that they can't make any assessment of whether Omicron also evades vaccine-derived immunity because they just don't have the data yet. So this makes it harder to understand how Omicron is going to impact countries like the UK, Israel, or the US who are heavily vaccinated. People still believe that boosting the immune system, so getting a booster jab, should compensate for some of the variants, immune evading tricks. So do you know ones where man hits you with a crossover? So this is like you're meant to be your defense, your help defense, the defender come around the back and block any drive to the lane. That's a basketball reference for those who give flyer monkeys. And of course, this data comes from evaluating 36,000 suspected reinfections in South Africa. So if you want my opinion on this that you didn't ask for, or you're going to get it anyway, I think it's too early to be panicky. We just have to wait and see. I really don't like how vaccines are being marketed because there's so many people with questions. Vaccines are not going to stop us catching coronavirus from the evidence so far. It may reduce the likelihood, but it's not going to stop us catching it. But what vaccines have done and have shown, and there's undeniable evidence, is that it definitely saves lives. The chances of you getting very sick, going to ICU and dying are significantly reduced, and that's what vaccines are for. Vaccines are not going to stop coronavirus spreading whatsoever. That's not what they do. They're to stop people getting very, very sick. And now, finally, no, this is not finally, we're going to more bit lifestyle. Selfridges. I was in there the other week. I love that place so much. Love the little perfume place. The luxury department store that has been around for such a long period of time is set to be sold, according to the Times, to a Thai conglomerate for £4 billion. So if you have £4 billion, you could grab the young Selfridges. The UK retailer owns 25 outlets, including big stores in London, Oxford Street, branches in Dublin, Netherlands, Canada. I know they have the Selfridges in the Bullring in Birmingham, and I think it's the Arndale Centre in Manchester as well. The Western family, who own Selfridges, they own it for 18 years, agreed to sell terms with the Central Group in the last few days. So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how it's going to impact the direction Selfridges goes in. I'll be keen to see, and I'm sure some of you other big spenders will also. Now, the final story, which I find quite hilarious, is the manager of SALT-BAE, so not the SALT-BAE himself, but his name is where is it? Mr. Mehmed. I'm assuming he's Turkish from that surname. Basically told everybody to mind their broke business. Yeah, we're talking on SALT-BAE, mind your broke business, my guy. So SALT-BAE recently opened he's another steakhouse, Nusr-Et, in Knightsbridge. I drove past a couple of times. It looked beautiful, and I actually want to go because it looks nice. And the manager of Nusr-Et had an interview with a paper, a London paper, and he was just letting the thing go. He said, "Listen, we serve the best meat in the world." Pause. And the backlash over the bills on social media, he described it as just talk. He basically said, some people just want to talk. Every day, talk. Why? And I kind of agree with him. He basically said that people have complained because they've seen bills on social media for people who have paid £10,000 for a bottle of wine. But you can find these prices all around London. The service and quality that we provide is extremely high. And this is true. For somebody who's worked in the finance industry and seen what some of the big wigs go out and spend, this could happen in bear restaurants in London. This is not abnormal. I think what he kind of missing out is the fact that £10 for Coke and all that type of stuff. Yeah, but that's not abnormal. These are not abnormal prices for really uptown restaurants. He also said it is more interactive than most restaurants. We cook and prepare the food in front of you, like our traditional baklava, which is very popular dessert. Some of the most popular meals there is an £850 steak peppered in gold, and a £100 burger. Members said the gold actually adds nothing in terms to the meat. Pause. It doesn't improve the taste or the quality. It's just there for vibes. So he's like, you don't even have to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, stay calm. A member said the most popular dish is the tomahawk steak, which can be covered in gold leaf for about £1,460. He said it's popular because of its great taste and because the piece of meat made Mr. Nusr-Et famous during the SALT-BAE video where he's like, shing, shing, shing. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are you going to go SALT-BAE? Do you think their prices are overrated? What do you think of Omicron? Are you suspicious about this very aggressive drive to get vaccine boosts, or do you think that countries, especially African countries, should be vaccinated? And let me know what you think of the travel rules. And yeah, until next week, peace and blessings.